side thought arguments are that they do not actually understand what their world would look like. And so that is where I'm going to begin this debate. What does a side prop world actually look like? And the answer is that a side prop world looks like skipping animal testing and injecting diseases with unknown impact right into people. Why does it look like that? Because we're going through a process of skipping the ethical boundaries, skipping the ethical codes in order to go right to people. The result of something like that is going to be thousands of deaths on a very conservative estimate as new drugs get tested directly into people. And as a result, people will die. Now, the most recent thing that side prop said was on vaccine hesitancy. Vaccine hesitancy is on both sides of the house. They say that what changes is on validation of the disease, but that's not what changes. What changes on their side of the house is that people ahead of taking a vaccine will have seen that other people died taking vaccines. How do we know that? Because these vaccines will be tested. Some of them will be tested for the first time in people, having skipped animal testing altogether, because that's where the thing jumps to. It also looks like people having died because of various other ethical guidelines that will have been skipped. As a result, vaccine hesitancy is so very much higher on their side. Now, additionally, they keep talking about things like bodily autonomy, that people risk their lives for altruistic reasons. But the thing is, many of the examples that they have given are actually evidence that we cannot necessarily trust people to act purely rationally. Things like joining the military or donating your organs are not done out of a high-minded idea of what is best for the society. People often join the military for nationalistic reasons, ethnic reasons that jump beyond what is good on an abstract or ethical level. Additionally, we can look at organ donation where black market, where people are so much more likely to give their organs on a black market as compared to simply giving them to a stranger. The result of things like this is that the examples that they have given are actually examples on our side about how we can't, people can't be trusted to give a rational consent. Now, consent is a really important part of this debate. They talk a lot about informed consent, but the thing is, when ethical guidance is flouted, consent can't properly be informed. We've already shown a few problems with the ability to give informed consent. Our first speaker talked about how in attempting to gain somebody's, in giving consent, people who are in very bad positions are likely to act in irrational ways, and therefore their consent, their rationality in giving consent is limited. Keep in mind who we are talking about when a pandemic strikes. People lose everything, often quite literally losing everything, having been having lost home, job, and family members all at once. People are in a state of crisis, and in that state, their consent is questionable. But additionally, when they talk about how informed consent involves talking about the impacts, talking about the risks and known side effects, the thing is, we don't have known side effects. How do we know that we don't have known side effects? Because again, part of their side of the house necessarily involves the skipping of animal testing. And so whether or not a new drug will just kill you is something they can't even tell a prospective patient. So what we have here then is a world on their side of the house where people are entering through consent that they are consenting in reasons that are entirely irrational, that are necessarily going to be against their best interest, and the result will be many deaths in the medical system. Of course, the results of course, both sides, we are dealing with a pandemic, so there will be deaths on both sides, but there will be substantially more deaths on their side. And that is the crux of our second argument, which they haven't addressed at all. And that is that people on their side of the house are so much less likely to trust the medical system. And so as a result, sure, they may find a cure faster, they may find a vaccine faster, but people won't take it because in making the decision to go and get the vaccine, they will first go, okay, we can go and take the vaccine, but many people died in the process of getting this vaccine. How can I trust that this vaccine isn't going to have the same impact? I'll take your POI.
Can you explain to me the logic behind being tested on,
Yes,
because there's no
absolutely.
monetary incentive.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is that people, again, like, you're looking for rationality. But what we're trying to say is that when people are in a state of major crisis, as a result of this, the rationality falls away. As a result, people they're so much more likely to do impulsive, illogical, irrational things that had they been in a state of rationality, they would have known is strongly against their best interests. Now, as Sidecar has said, the side that proves the fewer deaths should win. The side that saves the most lives is the side that should win. So I would like to just emphasize why it is so clear that side A saves the most lives. Now, we've highlighted that there are three groups of people who may potentially die on both sides of the debate. The first are the population who will die from the pandemic before a cure is found. This population is going to be the same on both sides. But on their side, we then have two extra groups of people who will die that they haven't even potentialized. The first are the ones who died because they took these risks, they entered into these testing situations, and as a result, they failed to, and as a result, they died. We don't have that on our side of the house now. We don't have that on our side of the house because testing is done through the ethical system. First, you start with animal tests, then you move to a small population having already proven that it won't have significant adverse effects, and you take things slowly. In doing so, we ensure that a cure will be found, but a cure will be found without significant deaths in the process that they would have.